Hello there. So today for the themes Thursday I will talk about Thoth or Thoth you would say then, or 2D I think is the right pronunciation. And shall I start with that, or shall I say I will say something else first. Thank you also anyone for comments, and so I appreciate it a lot. And I wonder about this for example, Cara and Jessica, about maybe for the one card reading or so, make like layers, like, you know, to do them a little bit together, maybe the Soul Saturday, at least sometime, if you like. It's just an idea, or something like that together. I would love, since you also work with cards, and maybe one could draw, a weekly card, and someone else just expanding on that with their card, or like a next card on the meaning of the first card, or for that week, or and then like a third layer of it or something. What do you think? Or one can do like, I could, for example, or someone of you pull a situation or problem card, and someone, or like past what have led up to the situation, and someone the now card for now, and someone the possible future or resolution or card or so. I don't know, what do you think? Even though I'm not very technical, so to make them fit together, in one video, I don't know about, but just to put the links, or I would just love also to see you making videos again, more so just one thought. But that's aside from these topics, I will not drift more into that. It's just when it comes to Ayurveda, for example, when we learned that, or when I learned that, we had an assistant beside, like also educated in that, to like, not to like oversee as such, but it's a good, it's a more I see more. And so you, and also have come from different perspectives and different experiences, and so and see things that I would miss out, and the other way around. So then, most people don't work with an assistant. Maybe now you need to have so you can charge them for that work or whatnot. But so many work alone, as much as I know of in Sweden, anyways. But traditionally they don't. And also when it comes to solution focus, that I know you like very much, at least my videos, that is kind of a draw from that tradition or so. And there they also, in that therapy form, they can sit just with you one, but they also have sometimes so that they have a couple of persons, or at least one, that is behind a mirror, a one-sided mirror, so you can't see them. But they have little phones, so if they have anything, they can like oversee the whole, and so they can be a little bit laid back, and sometimes you don't see things when you're in a situation that you would see if you just observe it, and so whether they would be in the room then or whatnot, but they are not seen to not disturb, like, but still they can like beep in their phone and say certain, give some suggestions, or say something they see, or a question or something to that therapist in the room, so that they get help from many sources, to keep also that I guess it's also to keep that I do drift now, but anyways, to keep that focus on solutions and not stray too far also, I guess. That would be easy to do. So anyways, I like that idea. I would love to like work always with a couple of others at the same time in all the things that I do, I guess. It would always, not always, it depends. I mean, you need to have the same intent at least. But aside from that, if you do, and so that would always add to the, I mean, that would be greater. Yeah. So, okay, moving on now to this duty. Oh, anyways, let me know if you like to do that, and if so, I could put a link to yours if you want to be for the number 2 card, or if you want to do the whole other, or something else even. Let me know. So then we can try, maybe, if you're up for it. Okay. And so one can, of course, also, by the way, use the same card. I mean, whether we work with the same deck, but if you work with tarot, that would be similar cards anyway. And just give various interpretation of what we see in them. That would give a broader, so that people can then choose the interpretation that they are, or even listen to all of them. I don't know. Yeah, well, something. I just felt that I would love that idea, so I wanted to share it. Okay, now duty. From the Greek, they always talk about how you spell them, or say the names here. This is a name that I always stumble upon because I know you don't say Thoth, anyway. He's one of the deities of the Egyptian pantheon. In art, he was often depicted as a man with the head of an ibis or a baboon. Actually, I didn't even know that. I'm not very into this. I learned, but I thought that maybe it was someone else with a baboon head. Okay. Animals sacred to him. His feminine counterpart was Seshat, and his wife was Ma'at. And I will put the link to her again. Lovely Makeda, or her name is not Makeda, but Makeda Wisdom is her channel. And she also have these, I don't know if she have a playlist of those Ma'at videos she have done, but if so, I will put the link to that playlist beneath. But she have done a lot of videos on Ma'at anyways. And also she have this awesome oracle deck, but Wisdom of Natural Hair, I think it's called. It's beautiful. Well, Thoth's chief temple was located in the city of Kmun, later called Hermopolis Magna during the Greco-Roman era, in reference to him through the Greeks' interpretation that he was the same as their god Hermes. And in the Coptic rendering, Kmun was partially destroyed in 1826 CE. In that city, he led the Ogdoad pantheon of 8 principal deities. He also had numerous shrines within the cities of Abydos, Hesert, Urit, Per-Ab, Rekhui, Taur, Sephat, Pselket, Talmsis, Achamutet, Ba, Amenheriab, and Takens. Tehuti played many vital and prominent roles in Egyptian mythology, such as maintaining the universe, great thing, and being one of the 2 deities, the other being Ma'at, who stood on either side of Ra's boat. I actually was drawn to several, even some others, Anubis, for example, and so, but most it was weighing in between Ma'at and Duty then, so I actually didn't know Ma'at was his maiden. Okay. So I will take her next week then. Yeah. In the later history of ancient Egypt, Dehuti became heavily associated with the arbitration of godly disputes, the art of magic, the system of writing and development of science, and the judgment of the dead. And also related then to, since Hermes and, you say Hermes Trismegistus, this, connected to alchemy and everything, I guess that would be also with him then. Etymology, the Egyptian, no, not that. I always try to read these chapters, but the pronunciation, but maybe I get a clue on this clearly then. I will just briefly check through it like. I'm sorry, I'm just reading here. The Greek form Thoth is more common than Dehuti, which is actually the Egyptian sound of the name. So Thoth is the Greek name, all right. And his name would mean he who likes the ibis, according to some interpretation here anyways. Other forms of the name and spelling, there are many. All the transcriptions. In addition, Dehuti was also known by specific aspects of himself, for instance, the moon god Yaduti, representing the moon for the entire month. The Greeks related Thoth or then Dehuti, but to their god Hermes, due to his similar attributes and functions. One of Thoth's titles, thrice great, the Hermes Trismegistus, that word that I almost never can say, was translated. Interesting. So there is clearly a connection here to the emerald tablets and that. I will still say Dehuti since I think about them as the Egyptian pantheon here. So Dehuti has been depicted in many ways depending on the era and the aspect the artist wished to convey. Usually he is depicted in his human form with the head of an ibis. In this form he can be represented as the reckoner of times and seasons by a headdress of the lunar disk sitting on top of a crescent moon resting on his head. When depicted as a form of shoe or anchor, he was depicted to be wearing the respective god's headdress. Sometimes he was also seen in art to be wearing the Atef crown or the united crowns of Upper and Lower Egypt. When not depicted in this common form, he sometimes takes the form of the ibis directly. He also appears as a dog-faced baboon, or a man with the head of a baboon when he is An, the god of equilibrium. I learn things here. In the form of Dehuti, he took a more human-looking form. Sorry, really. These forms are all symbolic and are metaphors for Dehuti's attributes. The Egyptians did not believe these gods actually looked like humans with animal heads. For example, Ma'at is often depicted with an ostrich feather, the feather of truth, on her head, or with a feather for a head. Obviously, it's what they represent. But they still can show themselves in various ways. Dehuti's roles in Egyptian mythology were many. He served as a mediating power, especially between good and evil, making sure neither had a decisive victory over the other. He also served as scribe of the gods. Oh, by the way, about that, about why wish your enemies well, and so you can check it yourself. Jordan Peterson have such a wonderful, awesome view on that, or actually he refers to someone else's great view of that on that. But yeah, but you can just Google that. I don't need to put every link beneath there. He also served as a scribe of the gods, credited with the invention of writing in alphabets, hieroglyphs themselves. In the underworld Duat, he appeared as an ape, An, the god of equilibrium, who reported when the scales weighing the deceased's heart against the feather, representing the principle of Ma'at, was exactly even. Oh, I read this strangely. I must read this sentence again. In the underworld Duat, he appeared as an ape, An, the god of equilibrium. So from with this, I understand what I read. Who reported when the scales weighing the deceased's heart against the feather, representing the principle of Ma'at, was exactly even. The ancient Egyptians regarded deity as one self-begotten and self-produced. He was the master of both physical and moral, divine and law, making proper use of Ma'at. He is credited with making the calculations for the establishment of the heavens, stars and earth, and everything in them. Compare this to how his feminine counterpart, Ma'at, was the force which maintained the universe. He is said to direct the motions of the heavenly bodies. Oh, this is so beautiful and whoa, great. Without his words, the Egyptians believed the gods would not exist. His power was unlimited in the underworld and rivaled that of Ra and Osiris. I need to talk about Ra soon also. And Horus and everyone. The Egyptians credit him as the author of all works of science, religion, philosophy, and magic. He is wow. The Greeks further declared him the inventor of astronomy, astrology, the science of numbers, numerology, maybe also, mathematics, geometry, land surveying, medicine, botany, theology, civilized government, the alphabet, reading, writing, and oratory. They further claimed he was the true author of every work of every branch of knowledge, human and divine. What a good ally to have here. And the mythology here. Jehuti has played a prominent role in many of the Egyptian myths. Displaying his role as arbitrator, he had overseen the 3 epic battles between good and evil. All 3 battles are fundamentally the same and belong to different periods. The first battle took place between Ra and Apep, the second between Heru Bekudet and Set, and the third between Horus and Set. In each instance, the former god represented order, while the latter represented chaos. If one god was seriously injured, Jehuti would heal them to prevent either from overtaking the other. Jehuti was also prominent in the Assyrian myth, being a great aid to Isis. After Isis Set gathered together the pieces of Asar's dismembered body, he gave her the words to resurrect him so she could be impregnated and bring forth Horus. Oh yeah, Osiris, they shift those names, Osiris. After a battle between Horus and Set, in which the latter plucked out Horus's eye, Jehuti's counsel provided him with the wisdom he needed to recover it. Jehuti was the god who always speaks the words that fulfill the wishes of Ra. The mythology also credits him with the creation of the 365-day calendar. Originally, according to the myth, the year was only 360 days long, and Nut was sterile during these days, unable to bear children. Jehuti gambled with the moon for 1/72 of its light. 360 divided with 72 equals 5, or 5 days then, and 1. During these 5 days, Nut and Geb gave birth to Osiris, then Set, Auset, Isis, and Nephthys. Yeah. Okay. Jehuti was originally a moon god. The moon not only provides light at night, allowing time to be to still be measured without the sun, but its phases and prominence gave it a significant importance in early astronomy. The cycles of the moon also organized much of Egyptian society's rituals and events, both civil and religious. Consequently, Duty gradually became seen as god of wisdom, magic, and the measurement and regulation of events and of time. He was thus said to be secretary and counselor of the sun god Ra, and with Maat, truth order, stood next to Ra on the nightly voyage across the sky. Duty became credited by the ancient Egyptians as the inventor of writing, and was also considered to have been the scribe of the underworld, and the moon became occasionally considered a separate entity. Now that Duty had less association with it and more with wisdom. For this reason, Duty was universally worshipped by ancient Egyptian scribes. Many scribes had a painting or a picture of Duty in their official. Likewise, one of the symbols for scribes was that of the ibis. In art, Duty was originally depicted with the head of an ibis, or how you say that word even, possibly because the Egyptians saw curve of the ibis beak as a symbol of the crescent moon. Sometimes he was depicted as a baboon holding up a crescent moon, as a baboon was seen as a nocturnal and intelligent creature. The association with baboons led him to occasionally being said to have a concert Astenu, one of the male baboons at the place of judgment in the underworld. In other occasions, Astenu was said to be Jehuti himself. During the late period of Egyptian history, a cult of Jehuti gained prominence due to his main center, Kmun, Hermopolis Magna, also becoming the capital. Millions of dead ibis were mummified and buried in his honor. The rise of his cult also led to his cult seeking to adjust mythology to give Duty a greater role. Duty was inserted in many tales as the wise counselor and persuader, and his associating with learning and measurement led him to be connected with Seshat, the earlier deification of wisdom, who was said to be his daughter or variably his wife. Duty's qualities also led him being identified by the Greeks with their closest matching god Hermes, with whom Duty was eventually combined as Hermes Trismegistus, also leading to the Greeks naming Thoth's or Duty's then cult center as Hermopolis, meaning city of Hermes. It is also considered that Duty was the scribe of the gods rather than a messenger. Ambu or Hermanubis, or how is it, was viewed as the messenger of the gods, as he traveled in and out of the underworld and presented himself to the gods and to humans. It is more widely accepted that Duty was a record keeper, not a divine messenger. In the papyrus of Ani copy of the ancient Book of the Dead, the scribe proclaims, "I am thy writing palette, O Duty, and I have brought unto thee thine ink jar. I am not of those who work iniquity in their secret places, let not evil happen unto me." Sorry, don't read well. I'm not of those. I am thy writing palette, O Duty, and I have brought unto thee thine ink jar. I am not of those who work iniquity in their secret places, let not evil happen unto me. Anyways, in one chapter, the Budge of the Book of the Dead is by the oldest tradition said to be the work of Duty himself. There was also an Egyptian pharaoh of the 16th dynasty named Duty or Thoth after him, and who reigned for 3 years. Okay. So that was actually what was said here. There are always those that you can hold this, read more about these things, but I will just leave you at that and hope you learned something. I did. And the Eye of Horus itself, things later on here I see, even those smaller, not only the deities, but also certain things within there is pretty interesting. But I'm sorry that I mixed this into this Themes Thursday, but I hope anyone got anything out of this and can check it out more. I have this also, the Thoth deck, that is very famous, and tarot deck. As if anyone want a weekly card or anything from some of my decks, what decks. But anyways, back to this whole, maybe I can do it like that, so that you can let me know if you feel inspired for any, if any one of you, specifically Kara and Jessica, that I know you, so if you have inspiration to pick an additional card for the Soul Saturday, or in any kind of way, let me know, so then I will mention that in my video for that Saturday, whatever, even if you wouldn't want to do it regularly or so. So yeah, that would be awesome. Well, I think I will probably just not try to do them too long. I should have that deck here now to just pull a card, maybe. But link to Makitas. There are many great videos out on Kemetic practitioners and so on. Their way of working their spirituality, or the way they see things, and so that can also give a lot of insights, I'm sure. I kind of like them, but I'm not very I've not learned a lot about those though, but I can stumble upon some of those videos sometimes and watch them though. So yeah, I thought it would say even more about this though, but it's it's vast, yeah, obviously. Okay. That was that. I wonder if there was... Yeah, also about the keeping the videos up. And by the way, I showed in a video, I showed a book, a Brian L. Weiss book that I hadn't read. I have a lot of books I said that I haven't read, and that was about progression, it's called, not regression. But it's good to do regression first, maybe, to cleanse out things, so you don't project things just into the future. But that is to journey into the future, and like maybe it's a little bit like a monarchy. When you dream the future, you wish actually, but then you create rather than just looking at it. So this is more like in a psychic sense, I would say, or if you just think, you imagine, still it can give insights to the now. And so that book actually is about progression. So I started reading that, and I was surprised. I didn't even know he was into that. It seems to have many people who did regressions suddenly jumped into the futures of theirs. And so he gradually started working with that also, more and more. So quite interesting. And I've seen my future, not my whole future, but I've seen my coming, the life to come. But also some people, sometimes it just turns your head in all kinds of directions. Some say that you can, since the time isn't linear as we think it, you can actually be reborn, not in what we would say future time, but back in time, so to speak. Because I always thought that it was many, many years since I saw my coming next life. And And if then there was a time, that would be. But as I perceived it, it was my coming self, and it would be kind of a pretty normal, but I would be very content in that life, it seems. Anyways, not dramatic. Well, I like that. I look forward. No, but anyways, so I thought about that would be actually in the future, and that the world will be okay and everything, but maybe I just go backwards. But yeah, leaving that. But when it comes to the whole videos and keeping them up, I like to keep them up myself, but I still want to know somewhat what I have up there. And since I do a lot, I will at least, I promise you this, Jess, for example, that I will keep a video up for a week at least that I do. And it depends also on the likes, so share them if anyone wants to, so that more can find them if you want to keep them up also. Or if it's a specific video you want me to keep up, I will though. So, okay, much love for now, and talk soon. Bye.